Hi, Milind. Okay, hold on a second.
Huh.
How are you?
Yeah, why you upside down? Very good.
Yeah, I'm
Very good,
always
very good.
upside down.
Why
What's about that?
why can't I be on the left?
I have no idea why you can't be on the left, but you know what? My pink hair looks better than your white hair, and that's the new thing. This is the advantage of having white hair. You can color it purple and pink and purple, whatever, blue, whatever you want. So I have ideas for you, Milind. You're always giving me ideas. Today I have ideas for you. How are you?
Good
I'm
to
happy
see
to
you,
see
buddy.
you. Yeah, it's good to see you too. Though I did see you on the Prime Minister's thing, so I'm very, chuffed today. I'm just like, this guy was on the PM's show yesterday, and he's on my show today.
Yeah, but you should have seen me over there. Why not? We had good things to talk about.
Yeah, you were very inspiring as you
Yeah.
always are. So it was really joyful watching you. And
How do you know if you didn't see it?
I did see it. That's what I said. I just saw you yesterday.
Oh, you did. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So I was with the Prime Minister yesterday and today with you.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I heard what you had to say, and yeah, it's really funny. They're talking about Fit India and things like that. I'm just like, when is Kantirwa Stadium going to open? Tell me that first. I should.
Yeah, I know, I know. After the chat, everybody's like, why didn't you ask him this? Why didn't you ask him that?
Yeah.
And lots of things that weren't about health and fitness at all. And I said, this is what it was for, and that's what we had to talk about,
Well, but the thing is, I
So,
spoke real sense, and I think, yeah, I relayed your conversation to my girls, and I was telling them about all the awesome things you say. But you always say awesome things, Milind. You always say, and that's why I'm so
thank
happy
you,
to have
Gordon.
you on my show, and to be talking to you about things. But yeah, before we dive into running and the running stories and things like that, I want to just ask you how this whole lockdown business has been for you. Every person I know has kind of had a low phase and depressed and things like that. How have you tied it through that? What's happening?
Well, I was quite, I would say, unadjusted for about a week, and this I'm saying is in late March because that's when it started. But I think I adjusted fairly quickly. The one thing that you miss, obviously, as a runner is getting out onto the road and running.
Yeah.
But then my wife, Ankita, and even my mother and I, we started climbing up and down the stairs, like I think thousands and lakhs of other people must have done.
Wow.
And we were doing a lot of stair climbing. And I think eventually and quite quickly, I think in about 3 weeks or so, I was so used to sitting at home and not traveling. Earlier, I was traveling almost 20 days a month, as you might know. And I was so used to it that I couldn't imagine not sitting at home. So it just, I think if you kind of don't think about it and you just do what you have to do,
Yeah.
you can adapt, you can adjust to almost any situation in life. As
Yeah.
long as as long as you can eat and you can sleep, and then you have to devise your own activities for yourself, mentally as well as physically.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, yeah, I can eat and I can sleep, but I'm really waiting to get back on a flight and just go zoo. I really miss
Yeah.
that
So
once.
yeah, but it's tough. I mean, I went to Guwahati last week, in fact, and every airport or every state has their own regulations. So I had to go there as soon as I landed. I had to do a COVID test, and Ankita, because she was staying, she had to go into quarantine for 10 days. And because I was returning within 72 hours, I didn't have to go into quarantine. And then, of course, come back to Bombay. And next month, I might be going to the US. So again, we'll see how things are over there. I mean, you don't know. Everywhere it's different. Everybody's trying to do the best they can.
Yeah, I know. I don't think I've started to forget what an airport looks like. And it's like withdrawal symptoms to me because, I live to travel and I've literally lived out of a suitcase the last so many years. And it's like, I don't think I've been home these many months together. So it's really quite a kind of thingy. But
well, I'll tell you, when you're leaving through an airport, it's very smooth. Everything is contactless, and you zip through the airport. But when you arrive at any place, that is when
The
all
night
the
start.
regulations come into play. Yeah, like how long you're going to be here, where are you going to be, how long you can stay in a certain place, whether you have to do a test or not, whether you
Yeah.
have to be in quarantine or not. Yeah. But if you're leaving, don't worry. You can get out of any place very quickly.
Exactly. It's the other side which
Yeah.
is scary. Yeah, but it's great to know that
Yeah.
you're going to the US, Milind. I'm just going to start putting my shopping list together, especially because I know that you don't travel with too much luggage and you don't carry too much stuff.
At all.
So I am going to have
Yeah.
one suitcase of 23 kilos waiting for you on the other side. Okay, so since our talk is really about, the Runaway show and it is about running, I wanted
Yeah.
to quickly go over, you've been a swimmer all your life, and how did running happen? And tell me about your first marathon. How good or bad was it?
First full marathon, or like people say, marathon is when you run like 5 kilometers.
No, I'm not talking about a pinkathon race. I'm talking about a full marathon.
Okay, so my first, I started running because, of course, the Mumbai Marathon, and that was announced in 2003. And I had this idea in my head that, I want to run a marathon at least once in my life, which is a full marathon. And I said, let me start with this
Mm,
and let's see how it goes. But when I ran that first half marathon in 2004, it just hooked me. It was such an amazing feeling to be able to complete that distance. And since people had been telling me, that, oh, you're 38 years old, how are you going to do it? It's 21 kilometers. And at that time, now this is 18 years ago, people were like, okay, it's all right to run in Europe and it's all right to run in the US, but this is India. The
yeah,
roads are like this. The weather is like that. You're going to, faint and be dehydrated and have cramps and die. And I said, okay, we'll see. Let me try one.
yeah,
And as soon as I finished it, it was really like a revelation. Even I began to believe those people when they told me how tough it was going to be. When I realized when I actually did it, it wasn't that tough, and I just felt this huge sense of achievement and accomplishment. And I think that is what runners really, respond to. Even when you do a 10K, thinking that, oh, it's going to be tough, and then it's easy, and you have this, you rediscover yourself every time you run
yeah.
about how amazing you are. And I think that's what hooks you.
Did
And
you
I
train
was totally
for it?
hooked.
Did you train for it before you ran it, or did you just get up one fine morning and you ran it?
No, 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 no. Of course, I trained for it because I'm very cautious.
Hmm.
And I said, okay. And people were scaring me. So I got into a treadmill and I ran till I could get up to about 10 kilometers or so. I ran on a
Stop.
treadmill.
Yeah.
And then I started running on the road.
Hmm.
And before the day, I had run, I think, about 16 or 17 kilometers. I hadn't run more than that. So the last 4 kilometers was still going to be a surprise.
Right.
But when I did it, it was very comfortable. It was so easy, and I was just.
How long?
Uh,
How long did you take from there? How long did you take to graduate to a full?
I took 5 years.
Fantastic. I think that's really great. And I
I,
think,
I, I told you I'm very cautious.
yeah, I know, but
It
I
took
think,
me, and
yeah, I think that's,
even though it took me 5 years,
yeah,
even though it took me 5 years, the full marathon was a nightmare. My first full marathon was a nightmare. It's not, as they say, it's not double of the half. It's nowhere close to that. It's like a different, completely different experience altogether. At the 38th kilometer, I remember I collapsed.
wow.
I fell down on the road. I was dizzy. I couldn't think. And it all started, I think, with at the 20th kilometer, I got a cramp in my calf. And then at the 25th kilometer, I got a cramp in my other calf. And then every kilometer, I was getting a cramp in different muscles. And that by the end of by the 30th kilometer, my legs just completely, I couldn't keep them straight and I couldn't bend them, and I just keeled over. It
Amazing.
was just something
Yeah.
I had never experienced anything like that in my life. But there was another runner, Mala Honati, I still remember, who was a regular marathon runner. She came up to me, and she's older than me. At that time, she must have been about 50 or something. And she took out this tube of some analgesic, which was, given by the race organizers. And she started rubbing my legs and said, get up, you can do it. And I'm going to run with you these last 3-4 kilometers. And I was like, okay, I don't know what's happening. But I could just hear her voice, and she kept talking nonsense to me for 4 kilometers and across the finish line. It was incredible. Never before that or since that have I ever had such an experience. And in fact, I've written about it in my book. You know, my whole book is based on this backdrop of
Yeah.
running my first full
Yeah.
marathon. Because as an experience, it has stayed with me, and it's made me even more cautious about attempting things. So it's not that I feel that I can't do something, but I know that everything new that you attempt is going to be a challenge, and the more you prepare for it, the better it's going to be, and the more enjoyable it's going to be.
Yeah, I think what's just happening is I think India is just seeing this big boom, and I feel like everybody's kind of going down that road of I want to like quickly get to the start and the finish line of a marathon, and I just feel there's so many people who are kind of being injured. I've of course just done one full marathon, but I just feel I don't have the time to train, and I'm just very doing the halves. I'm like, it's suffering actually. If you've not trained for it, if you're not prepared for it, it is suffering. And, people are just putting themselves through it. And there's just this thing about, I did it. But the thing is how you do it, right? I mean, you do it when you're well trained and things like that.
No, so what I discovered was that the mental impact of running a marathon, or even just running, long distance running, the mental impact is so fantastic. It is so, so positive that you want that to continue for the rest of your life. It's not about the physicality. It's about the mental positivity that you get through running, that I found that I got through running, and also the physical impact, of course. And if you keep running regularly, you don't even need to train to complete the distance. Your body is conditioned for that distance. So you may not do the timing that you want to do, but you can definitely go the distance. Like even for me, if I go out and run right now and try and run 42 kilometers, I'll finish in about 5 hours. But if I train for it, maybe I'll finish in 3 hours, 3.5 hours, or 3 hours 45 minutes, or something like that. But even if I don't specifically train for it, I have maintained a level of fitness with which I can run a full marathon, or I can run 50 kilometers, or I can run from Bombay to Pune, or Bangalore to Mysore, anytime I want.
I was just going to talk about it, and I was just going to say that from that experience you've actually gone to was it Limca Book of Records, where you ran from Delhi to, I don't know, you're just running cities, and
Delhi to Bombay, because running, that feeling it gives you is so addictive, that you want to feel this amazing feeling all the time. And you feel that, okay, I did a half, now let me do a full. And I understand that people are impatient to feel. It's like a drug. I've done 21, I feel amazing. I've done 42, I feel 10 times more amazing. I've done 50, I feel 50 times more amazing. So you get addicted to that. And I went from Ahmedabad, Bombay, Delhi, Bombay, and then I said, okay, I don't need to do this. I mean, physically, it's not. I believe there is a big debate, of course, whether marathon running is healthy or not. And for me, I feel that it's not healthy at all, because there's too much stress on the body. For the mind, it is incredible, but for the body, it is debilitating, especially if you are not.
But I'm going to catch you right there, Milind, because you are telling me that marathon running is not happy for, not happy for the body, right? But then you went and did a freaking Ultraman, right? And the thing I want to know about the Ultraman, so I caught you right there, okay? But the thing that I want to know about your Ultraman experience is because, when we were in Israel together, you were narrating that day to me where you made it by 5 seconds, and your mother was waiting for you at the finish line, and I think you had a group up on the cycling day. And I think, for me, really, I feel like even when I look at Roger Federer, right, the thing that really is really, I feel like an athlete or a champion is actually made of, like, you're on the brink of losing and you dig deep and you come back and you kind of just about make it. And I think you had that touch and go experience more than once, the Ultraman. But specifically on day 2, I wanted to know about what you went through mentally, because I'm sure on that day you had moments when you were very close to losing it. You must have had moments of doubt, moments of aaj to ye mere haath se gaya, right? So I want to know what went through your mind that day.
Well, I'll tell you firstly a bit of the journey to Ultraman. So of course, when I was turning 50, I wanted to do something that was interesting, you know, to commemorate that year, because everybody said, oh, it's 50, it's a big milestone, blah, blah, blah. So I said, you know, this thing came up. Somebody mentioned it, and I said, okay, it, Iron Man sounds interesting as a challenge. Let's do Iron Man. And I hadn't swum for 25 years. You know, I'm a good swimmer. I'm a very good swimmer, very comfortable. But I had not swum laps for 25 years. So I got into the water and I said, let me see how much I can swim, because Ironman, as we all know, is 3.8 kilometers of swimming, then 180 kilometers of cycling. And I had not cycled since I was a child, round the block. You know, maximum that I may have cycled before that might have been like a kilometer. And you're supposed to do 180 kilometers, and then you're supposed to do a 42-kilometer marathon. So I said, and in fact, I wrote to somebody and I said, you know, send me a training plan. And they sent me a training plan which was 35 hours a week. And I said, okay, I don't have 35 hours a week. You know, I want to do this. I don't have 35 hours a week. Give me something less. You know, I said, I don't want to win Ironman. I want to complete Ironman, you know, within the time that's stipulated. So they sent me another program that was 25 hours a week. I said, listen, I don't have even 25 hours a week. That's 5 hours a day, 5 days a week. I said, I don't have it. So then finally I made my own program, which was 14 hours a week.
Wow.
And in 14 hours a week, I was able to complete Ironman quite comfortably. And what I discovered was at that time also is that, you know, it's great to do all of these challenges and finish them comfortably. You don't have to really push yourself and kill yourself. If you train well, if you prepare well, you can finish them comfortably. Because another thing I realized about these challenges is that they are designed so that the maximum number of people will finish.
Okay.
You know, the cutoffs that they have are reasonably easy. You know, for example, the swimming cutoff, which is 2 hours, 20 minutes for a 3.8 kilometer swim. You know, I know a lot of people who learned how to swim for Ironman, who didn't know how to swim at all. They learned how to swim for Ironman, and they did Ironman in 6 months or 8 months.
Wow.
You know, so it is designed. It is a very motivational event. It will allow people to imagine the unimaginable, you know, and actually accomplish it. And I think most endurance events in the world are designed like this. It's not that they want nobody to finish.
Right.
They want lots of people to finish, because that's why lots of people will participate.
Right.
And it's like, and that's the difference between Ironman and Ultraman. And you can tell from the numbers, you know, Ultraman is 10 kilometers swimming, 420 kilometers cycling, and 84 kilometers running. Right. So even people who can imagine Ironman and complete Ironman cannot imagine Ultraman. It's like, what? No way.
Talk about bad for your body.
But after doing Ironman and then saying that, you know, I want to maintain a level of fitness where I can take up any challenge in my life. That's the level I want to be at always. I said, let me do Ultraman without training for it specifically. You know, let me see, because I understand now how these challenges are designed. They want people to finish. So if you have an average conditioning or an average endurance level, you should be able to complete Ultraman. So that was a test for me to see whether what I was thinking was correct.
Right.
And so that's why I went completely untrained, but I think not unprepared. So for me, even in my book, I've made a distinction between training and preparation.
Right.
And preparation is something that happens over years and years of choosing the way you want to live. You know, training is for something specific, and it's quite short term. That's how I have made the distinction. So the first day in Ultraman was actually very, very easy, because I did the 10-kilometer swim quite comfortably, I think in 3 hours, 40 minutes or something like that. And then you get onto the cycle, and it's 140 kilometers, which is like a cool down. After doing Ironman, you can say that.
Yeah.
And the second day, which is what I was actually concerned about, only the second day. The second day has an approximately 280 kilometer cycle ride. And I had never in my life till then cycled 280 kilometers. The maximum I had done was about 200 kilometers. So I got on the cycle. And the thing is, just, you know, to pace yourself well in any endurance event, you must understand pace. And it's a big lesson. I mean, it's a big lesson for life, that anything you do in life, don't jump at something, don't leap at something, understand your pace. Even if somebody else is doing something faster, you don't have to do it faster.
Yeah.
You understand your pace.
Yeah.
And endurance running, endurance events, they teach you to understand your pace, how quickly you will do something, whether it's your business, whether it's your relationship, whatever it is, you
Right.
find your pace. You don't let anybody tell you how fast you should go or how slow you should go. You have to find it. So when I got on the cycle, I said, okay, I thought about it. I said, this is the pace I'm going to try and hold, and I will finish maybe a half an hour before the cutoff.
Wow.
So yeah, it wasn't very easy. I was still thinking like half an hour is not a lot. When you're looking at a 12-hour cycling non-stop, half an hour is not a lot. And I actually finished, as you know, only 5 seconds before.
It's like no fear.
And what happened? What happened was that my watch was not telling me the right time. So in fact, just before that finish line, in fact, till I could see the finish line, and it was like 50 meters away, and they were all screaming at me to go faster and come on and listen, what are you doing? I didn't realize, I thought I had 5 minutes left.
Oh
But
my
it was actually,
God. So
but actually I had maybe 20 seconds left.
So no stress.
So that's what happened. That's what happened. And in fact, I had also picked up a penalty. So what they do is, in Ultraman, you have to go by the traffic rules.
Okay.
When you're riding your cycle, you have to go by the traffic rules. The traffic is not stopped. You're going there with the traffic. If there's a signal, you have to stop at the signal. You have to put your foot down till the signal shows green. You cannot cross. I mean, everything.
Right.
So at one of the signals, there was no traffic. I was the only person at this crossroad. And I didn't go, but I didn't put my foot on the ground. When you are at a signal, your foot one foot must touch the ground. So there was a volunteer there who saw that my foot didn't touch the ground. I stopped, the signal changed, and I left. So I didn't just put my foot on the ground. That was the only thing. So there was a 6-minute penalty for that.
Oh my God.
But as soon as I finished, the race director took me aside and he said, okay, you know that there's a penalty. And I knew there was a penalty. I knew it because that volunteer had told me.
Yeah.
And he said, you know, there's a 6-minute penalty. I said, yes. He said, okay, we are not going to charge that penalty. I said, thank you.
Milind, I want to know what this watch was, because I'm never going to wear that watch. Telling you.
I don't remember now what that watch was, and even if I did, I wouldn't tell you, because I'm sure it served me very well at other times. So no, it was a great experience. And then of course, I mean, the running seemed like it was tough because I finished 7 minutes before. Yeah. But again, I had paced myself to finish comfortably, you know. So to me, what I've learned after 18 years of endurance running and endurance events is that I want to go the distance, and I will go the distance, but I will go at my pace, and I will be comfortable. I will not kill myself. Yeah. I will laugh and I will smile at the end of it, and the next day I will go back to work. You know?
Fantastic. Yeah, that's fantastic.
Yeah. And I can tell you that I have never been injured in my entire life from any kind of sport.
I think a lot of people can learn from that, Milind, because I just feel there's this madness about, PBs and things like that.
There is a kind of madness.
Yeah. Yes. In fact, the other thing, since I came to this discussion about, PBs, I do have a set of some very interesting non-running questions also for you. But, since I talked about this PB, I want to just digress a little bit and talk about, your barefoot running, because you sort of advocate barefoot running as the natural form of running, and you've in fact even done the Ultraman barefoot and a lot of the other international marathons as well. Now, since Kipchoge broke his record, shoes and racing shoes have really gone to another level after we have the 2-hour record being broken. And in fact, I think the sport is almost kind of going through the similar journey that, let's say, tennis rackets and the weight of tennis rackets, or cricket and, the design of the cricket bats, etc. So it's, in running, it's actually shoes, right? I know that some of these Vaporflies are going at ridiculous prices. They're in short demand, and though they're in high high demand and short supply, and people are willing to pay anything for it. I just want, your take on this shoes and, shoes evolving the sport and breaking time limits versus, like, you're a barefoot runner. You're kind of like a purist, right? So what do you think about it?
Well, first, I'd like to say that I do not promote barefoot running. I just do it myself. If I say I promote it, there are 100,000
You
people who
have
are
a
going to sit
race.
on my head. How can you do that?
You are the organizer of the barefoot marathon in Coorg. So, if
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
I am. So which means the reason I do that is I want to provide a space for barefoot runners to come together and meet.
right,
It's like a gathering place for barefoot runners. But again, I would say that I have discovered for myself that barefoot running works really well.
right,
I have, because so what happened was, I think about 10 years ago, I was running in the hills, and I'd finished a 20-kilometer run. And at the end of it, I just took off my shoes and I was walking in my socks. And suddenly I felt, that my feet were feeling very refreshed because they were able to stretch. Inside the shoe, they were a little restricted and compacted. And then I just ran the last half a kilometer or so, and I just felt fantastic. And I said, this is something new. I didn't realize it would feel like this. So then I started running a little more and more barefoot. I started with half a kilometer completely barefoot. Then I did 1 kilometer, then I did 1.5. And again, I would say that I took it very, very gradually. It took me 1.5 years to
right,
build up again to a half marathon distance.
right,
And 1 more year after that to do my first full marathon barefoot.
right,
So it took me 2.5 years to run a full marathon barefoot
right,
after I started. My transition was almost 2.5 years.
right,
And people don't realize that. And why you need that transition is that I discovered that my feet had lost a lot of their muscular strength inside the shoe.
right,
All the muscles that are between the 26 bones that are inside in your feet, all the muscles that you have, the tendons that you have, are kind of clumped together, and they lose their natural ability and their natural efficiency and their natural, what they want to give your body stability.
right,
So your ankles become weaker because they've got the support. Your arches become weaker because they've got the support. Your feet, your toes, I mean, the entire design of your foot is not allowed to be effective because it's inside a shoe. So I discovered that the way I was running began to change imperceptibly, very, very in minute ways. Technically, my balance, the way my arms were moving, the way my foot was falling, my cadence, everything began to change. My posture, everything began to change. And even today, this is 10 years later, I think my body is still learning how to run better and more effortlessly and more efficiently.
right.
So that is the experience that I had. So I would never go back to running with shoes. And a lot of people say that, why, if running without shoes was so amazing, why do the top 100 the people in the world run with shoes?
Yeah,
I'll say I don't know.
yeah,
I don't know, but they have sponsors. So I don't know why they run with shoes. But I would also like to say that the Indian record for marathon running, which is very fast, it's not slow, it's 2 hours, 12 minutes. It has not been broken since 1978.
right.
Shivnath Singh is the holder of that record. He ran barefoot.
Wow, this is something new, Milind. I didn't know this. I knew that he held the record and the record hasn't been broken, but I didn't know that he ran barefoot.
He ran barefoot.
But
He ran barefoot.
what I don't know is if Kipchoge would have been able to do the sub 2, without those shoes.
But that only Kipchoge can tell you. And if he's sponsored, he won't be able to tell you the truth. I guess.
True.
I guess.
So true.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to.
But I'm saying, see, for me, timing, speed, for me is overrated. For me personally, I'm not looking at breaking any records. I'm not looking at going very, very fast. I'm looking at being comfortably completing a distance. I'm looking at running, adding joy to my life, and no pain at all, and enhancing my life. So I don't live to run. I run to live.
Yeah.
I run so that I can live better.
This is the thing. I feel like in the running space, I feel every runner has their own journey. They have their own, personal agenda in terms of, what they want to achieve for themselves. And I think, it's literally like each to his own, because like it's, you know, the distance and doing it comfortably, doing it as long as you can. I heard you say that to the Prime Minister yesterday, that, you know, you want to be what your mother is able to do at your
Yes.
age, you want to be able
I
to
think
do
we
that.
want.
But for a
Yeah.
lot of people, they want to hit that timing goal, and then they're like, okay, I'm happy to hang my boots or just be comfortable. So I think that's the whole thing about running, right? It's very personal, and it's very about, you know, what
Yeah.
everybody wants to achieve for their own selves.
It is.
Of course, I've kind of known you a few years, Milind, and I want to tell you something about you which is very endearing to me, and I sort of just want to understand that a little bit more. You know, I kind of, when I look at you, I see like somebody who's kind of like always been a super achiever. You went off, you know, you started with swimming, and then you became a supermodel, and I don't know a single male model who's kind of achieved the kind of success you've achieved in modeling in India, right? So you went on to there. I really believe that you are an extremely smart entrepreneur. I don't know anybody else who could have pulled off something like Pinkathon in India. And I just feel like, you know, if I just look at, then you had, you know, the records that you set in long distance, the Ultraman and things, and you're always kind of reinventing yourself and chasing and things like that. And the thing which is actually very endearing to me is that despite the opportunity of sort of, see, a lot of people, when they achieve a lot of success, the first thing that they do is upgrade to fancy cars and, you know, buy penthouses and things like that. But I feel like, you know, I'm pretty sure that in the last 5 years, I've only seen you in Pinkathon t-shirts. Okay. So I kind of see, see, I told you. So I kind of see, when I see you, right, I see somebody who has a drive, but I also see somebody who's very grounded. So it's almost like, you know, two ends of a spectrum, because a lot of people who have drive actually also want wealth, right? They also want like to just buy bigger, faster and fancier, etc. But with you, it's really not the case. So I am just curious about if that's not really something that motivates you, what drives you and what keeps you grounded? It's kind of like, you know, two ends of the spectrum.
I think to me it's about exploration. You know, it's about curiosity. It's about seeing how things work. It's about exploring my own potential. Like, what do I want to do? How I can be a part of a situation? How I can change something? It's basically about exploring myself. You know, and apart from that, I am a minimalist. I don't like to accumulate things. I don't like to have a lot of things with me. To me, external, um, you know, I'm not a consumer. I would say I'm not. I like, that's why I don't, I really like the fact that I don't need shoes to run. I really love that fact. If I did need shoes to run, I'd say, oh shit, I need shoes. It's one more additional thing. So like you said, the way I travel, I don't carry stuff even when I travel.
Yeah.
I remember when I was a model, and once I was going to Mauritius for a shoot, the only thing I carried was a toothbrush. I did not carry anything else. And people were shocked. They said, where is your wallet? Where is your, I said, okay, I have some money in my pocket. I've got my passport in my other pocket, and I have my toothbrush.
Milind,
I mean, what else do I do?
I just want to crack a joke there. You were not going for the tough shoes shoot, right? Carrying nothing, just a toothbrush.
No. No, not that one. Not that one. It could have been naked, but not that tough.
Yeah.
Not that shoot.
Yeah, no, I just thought it was irresistible, like to button and kind of just,
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, going back to that question, yeah. So for you, it's not really, yeah. You're saying that it's the external factors don't really motivate you. They're not what drives.
They don't really. They don't. I just want to see what I can do. It's more about creative energy and just being there and seeing how you can be part of things. By contributing.
Yeah.
And I think that's nice. And sometimes people also, they call me a philanthropist, but I would say no. I don't think I am. I'm not. I don't see myself as a philanthropist. I see myself as doing things that help me first to understand myself better. But I also enjoy looking at things grow.
Right.
So I'm maybe I'm a farmer at heart. I don't know. I like to see things grow, and it could be anything. Like what has been most satisfactory to me about Pinkathon has been the growth of the community. It is not, the number of events or, when we do an event, and it's beautiful when we do an event. I mean, you've been for them, the
Yeah,
kind of energy, positive energy that there is there.
yeah,
But just the fact that the community has grown and women are using this as a platform, they're encouraging other women to join, and thousands, I mean, lakhs, in fact, of women are out there now helping
yeah,
each other. We've got Pinkathon Day on the 1st of November. And even in this situation of the pandemic, we have more than 230 locations across 8 countries
yeah.
participating. So, that is something that's really, I'm happy to have been part of.
Yeah, it's. I think you've done fantastic things, and I know for a fact that I think that for you, you just have an interest in using your creative energy. You kind of always sat me down, and kind of advised me, even with Active Holiday Company.
Yeah.
And I really think you have a brilliant mind. I just think you have a really good mind, and this is what I tell people when they know that I know you, and they ask me about how is he. I say he's very smart. Because you are.
बहुत शाना है, बहुत शाना है.
नहीं, it's true. मेरे को झाड़ने की आदत नहीं है, but it's true. This what I'm saying is kind of true. Milind, this weekend is the Berlin Marathon weekend. I'm very sad that all these marathons have had to be cancelled because of COVID. I have not seen a single race this whole year. Neither have any of my runners, but you did with us in 2016, and tell us a little bit about that experience. I can't remember, did you go barefoot or did you have your sandals? But I remember you'd come with Ankita.
I could have worn Vibrams. So the thing about being barefoot is there are three situations in which I don't run completely barefoot. One is if it's dark, obviously. One if it's wet, if it's raining.
Right.
And the third is if I don't know the route.
Right.
So at some point, suppose the road is broken, there's gravel, I won't be able to be comfortable. Then just to avoid that, I wear some minimal footwear, like maybe a Vibram or a Luna or something like that.
Right.
So I could have been wearing Lunas or Vibrams at that event. And of course, like all the big city marathons. I mean, I know Berlin is one of the big majors.
Yeah, the world majors. Yeah.
Yeah, so like all the majors, it is fantastic. I mean, to see more than 40,000 runners who are all running the full marathon together. I mean, that is a kind of experience of people's energy that you have to have. People have to have it, because it's very rare that you go into a space where there are thousands of people, unless it's like a music concert, where everybody's a fan of that person on the stage. But in this case, everybody's a fan of themselves. It's filled with positive people who think positively about themselves. They love themselves and they love what they can do, and that's incredible to feel. I mean, it's like when you go into a holy place. You go into a temple or a church where thousands and millions of people over the years have prayed, and that faith, and you feel that energy because it's the one energy, one positive energy. And the same thing with a marathon, you feel that all that positive energy of thousands of people together, and it completely blows you away. So Berlin, of course, is absolutely like that, and I was so happy to be part of it.
Yeah, we were very happy to have you there. The year after you ran was when, the world record was set there in 2018. No, 2 years later. Yeah, 2017. It was very rainy. So I think you also had it good in terms of weather, which is kind of a little unpredictable with all of the world majors. What are the races that you have in mind after, we can all start globetrotting again? What do you have in mind?
Well, apart from running, you promised me Mont Blanc, which I want to climb in Switzerland.
Yes.
And for the people who don't know about adventure holidays, they also arrange trips like that.
Active Holiday
So
Company.
that is something. Sorry, Active Holiday Company. What did I say? Adventure Holiday? Sorry, Active Holiday Company. And but yeah, running. I mean, the other majors, of course. I'd love to do the Tokyo Marathon. I've done the New York Marathon already. I've done the Chicago Marathon as well. London. So to finish all the majors, I mean, that would
Yeah,
be
like
amazing
the
because
week after that, and London is my
each of the
favorite
majors.
place. It's I just love it, and I just love everything
Yeah.
about it. And of course, it's your birth country as well. So
Yes.
you
Yes.
should go back and do that race. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
It's literally like they postponed it from April to October, and now 4th of October is the virtual London Marathon, and I'm so looking forward to it.
Right.
Holiday company is actually organizing the support for the runners here in Bangalore.
Wow.
But it's of course
Nice.
not the same. It's not the same. I mean, nothing can be the same. So
It
I
is,
can't,
of course, nothing can
yeah,
beat being there on ground.
I can't wait.
And I've done a lot of, yeah, I've done a lot of other marathons as well. And Jerusalem was very special.
Yeah,
Yes, that was fantastic.
that's
And
actually at the Dead Sea. That was my cover photo on today's post on my page.
yeah,
Yeah, you're
no, I have to thank you for that because Jerusalem, I had always wanted to go to
yeah,
Jerusalem because it's Jerusalem, but to actually go there and run the marathon was
yeah. It's like a
really
double
special to be there
joy,
as part
right?
of that.
Kind of like combining
Yeah.
two amazing.
No, and I mean, and that's what marathon tourism is all about. You want to see the space, but going there and actually running a marathon there makes it even more special. So
Absolutely.
that was good.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was amazing.
absolutely.
Then another run I did where you weren't there, which was Athens.
Yes,
The
yes. I've actually
the
saved all of my
original
Athens questions for Ankita because I know that was Ankita's debut full marathon.
first
And
full
I
marathon,
mean, I
yeah.
can't imagine doing it in a better place than Athens. So I have a
And
whole question
a
saved up.
tough run because I think almost 30 kilometers is uphill.
Yeah.
It was just it was tough, and I'm really
I have to tell you, Milind, as a woman, I was really happy to see her finish before you in Chicago. So
yeah.
yeah, uh, I needed to see that in.
Yeah.
I needed to
No,
see.
but now what she's told me is that see now I'm become comfortable. Now I can run a full marathon comfortably. Now you can go on and run at your own pace.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, are you sure?
I think even otherwise, Milind, I think you probably are, one of the few true feminists that I know. And I had my daughter say to me one day, she said to me, "Why is my name Aprajita Jairam and not Aprajita Datta Jairam? Datta is my maiden surname." And I
Yeah,
noticed you actually use your mother's name in your name now. It's like Milind Usha
yeah,
Soman, and I think that's just so fantastic. She's of course
yeah,
very inspirational herself. But
yeah. Oh,
I
she's
think
amazing. Yeah.
I mean I'm just pulling your leg, but I don't think you'd be very concerned about Ankita beating you at all of the races all the time.
No,
Yeah,
no, no. No, I'm so happy. I'm so, and listen, I'm happy because it's great when you're with somebody and your partner enjoys the same things that you do. I
yeah,
mean, it's really great.
yeah, it is.
And like earlier, I wasn't such a big fan of traveling.
Yeah,
I used to travel for work and that was it. But when I met her, she said, "Oh, I want to go everywhere and I want to see everything and and I would have said, "Oh my God, no way, go here and there and take pictures of temples and I don't want to do that."
yeah.
But then she got interested in running and then running long distance and then we started traveling to run and
Yeah.
that is something definitely
Yeah,
I enjoy.
I remember when she came to Berlin, she was actually not really into running. And then I think maybe,
Yeah,
it's the
exactly.
marathon and kind of doing, but you're so
Yeah,
right. I think having a partner
yeah,
who enjoys the same sort of things that you
yes.
do, I feel that's what really companionship is all about. You can share a lot,
Yeah,
do a lot more.
exactly. And I never tell anybody, you should run and you should. I say they can see me, they can understand my enthusiasm for
Yeah,
it. I don't say you should do it.
yeah.
And it was the same with Ankita. Suddenly she started running, then she wanted to run more, and now she has her own friends whom she runs with. So I'm just happy that it has become a part of her life. And I have never said that she should do it. She just picked it up on her own, which is fantastic.
It's fantastic, and I think yeah. I mean, even the Camino walk. In fact, I was supposed to do the Camino walk this year. You guys did, quite a distance. I think your sisters joined you as
Amazing.
well.
Yes,
Yeah,
they joined us at the last 100 kilometers. Yeah,
yeah. So I think it's
yeah,
just amazing if you're
it
kind of
is
able
great
to
fun.
do those kind of things and share those kind of experiences. So that's great. So we've kind of sort of like come to the end of this, Milind. I have a little rapid fire for you that I usually have for my. Yeah, you literally have like 5 seconds. Okay, I want fat answers. Okay, I don't
What
want
is
too
it?
much of thinking and all that. Okay, So
Okay.
but I'll make it really easy for you.
Yeah.
And I just want to kind of like be nice to you, you know, because I'm sure we have quite a way to go ahead. I want you to I'll ask you a question and I just want an answer like that, okay? Milind Soman in Captain Vyom or Ambaji Pant? 5 seconds.
Captain Vyom.
Ambaji Pant, okay. Kilimanjaro or
No,
Everest?
I said Captain Vyom.
Did you say
I
Captain
said
Vyom?
Captain Vyom.
Okay, because if you
Yeah.
give good answers, I'm not going to give you the hamper, okay?
Is Mont Blanc in the hamper?
I will let you know afterwards. First, you answer them well, okay?
Okay.
Kilimanjaro or EBC?
What?
Kilimanjaro or EBC?
Oh, Kilimanjaro. It's difficult. It's a difficult choice. It's a difficult choice because they're both so different. But Kilimanjaro is magical. It's really magical.
I haven't done it yet, so I can't really comment. EBC, I have.
Oh, you must.
What
You
is
must.
your me time activity of choice? Swimming, running, or cycling?
Running. Because for swimming you need a swimming pool.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I would have said swimming. But running is so easy, it's so convenient. Just get out and do it. Like I said, whatever is convenient. I'm a minimalist. Whatever I can do easily, I do that. Yeah.
The one thing your mom makes that Ankita just can't replicate, food-wise.
Well, Ankita is not comfortable making Maharashtrian food yet, you know. So she likes it, but she's not used to eating coconut-based food. But she's learning because she likes it very much. So I would say pretty much everything that is Maharashtrian. Ankita's not that good at it yet, but she makes great Assamese food.
I'm going to invite myself over one of these days.
Yeah, of course.
What are you going to pick, Milind? Are you going to pick naked with tough shoes or clothes and no shoes?
I would say naked and no shoes at all. No clothes, no shoes.
Hamper answer. Hamper answer. That is a hamper answer. Yeah.
No clothes, no shoes. Yeah.
No clothes, no shoes. Awesome. Milind, I want you to just close with one last bit. You know, I know your mom, I'm saying this because I feel your mother's so inspirational as well, right? I want you to just tell me about, you know, what influence has she had on you and everything that you continue to do, right? Just that I think would be my parting question.
Well, I think, and in fact, I tell everybody the same thing, you know, that it's very rare today to see parents that inspire their children by example. You know, what we do is we send the children to school, then we send them to workshops, and we send them for coaching, and we keep sending our children to other people to learn things. But we don't, can we say that, you know, I want my child to grow up to be like me? You know? That's what, whether they do or not, it doesn't matter. But can we say that? Can we say that, no, I am the living example that my children can follow, you know? And I think my mother is. I don't think she thinks like that, but I think she is like that, you know? That the way she has lived her life, independent, even today at the age of 81, independent, exploratory. She wants to still travel all over the place. She wants to trek all the time. She wants to go to wildlife parks. She wants to, and I teach her exercises, and she does exercises because she wants to keep her level of fitness, so that she doesn't need to compromise the way she wants to live, you know, in the future. I mean, that is something that has, I think, definitely influenced me. That kind of independence and living your life the way you want. You know, nothing has stopped her. She's had 4 children. She's taken care of all her 4 children, mostly on her own. She has been a professor of biochemistry. It's not that she was sitting at home and had all the time in the world to take care of the children. And I think the children turned out quite okay.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Well, when I met her, I asked her, I said, you know, you come from such a family which is so academically kind of like got grandparents, doctors and things. And I asked her, I said, were you not scared that Milind was doing all this modeling and hanging around at parties and, stuff like that in those days? And she said to me, I just had confidence in the way that I had raised him. And
Yeah.
I
See?
really think that's amazing, because most parents are actually worried, even though they have
Yeah.
invested their life in raising children. They're kind of a
Yeah.
little worried about ye kya karenge,
Yeah.
I thought that
Yeah.
as a parent to actually say that I know I've done a good job of this, and
That's the thing.
result will be
Seriously, that's the thing.
yeah.
And another thing is that, letting people live their lives the way they want, letting other people live their lives the way they want. She has never told us, none of her children, that you should do this or should do that. Like she said, she was confident that we would make the right choices for ourselves. And I do the same thing with Ankita. I would never dream of telling her, do this or do that, or you should be like this or you should be like that. I would try to just support her in any which way I could with whatever she dreams of,
Yeah.
And it's not like, oh, you're my wife, you should be like this.
No, I
it wouldn't
think
even enter my mind.
that's what a true partnership is really about.
Yeah.
Kind of just letting people be and, operate in their own space and accepting them for what they are. I think that's really what, I think that's what all healthy relationships are about, whether it's with, a partner or a parent or even friends for that matter, right? So, so that's fantastic. It's been so good to see you, Milind, after such a long time.
Yes.
I don't know when I'm
Hopefully we'll meet soon in person.
Yes, and I have to tell you, the last answer to the rapid fire did get you a spot, at Summiting Mont Blanc. So you should start training. That was a really good answer. I think it's going to be hard to beat through my show. So it's going to be like, something I'm going to flash quite a bit. So well done on that. Well done.
All right.
And I'm looking forward to having Ankita on the show soon as well.
Yes.
Thanks for your time.
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you, Gauri.
Stay safe, and we'll see you really soon again.
All the best.
Thank you. Thanks, Milind. Thanks for joining us today. Good night. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye. Bye, everybody.
Bye.